Do you feel like you're barely keeping your head above water? That no matter how hard you try, meaningful progress remains out of reach? Heather gets that. She battled an eating disorder for years before seeking help. Now in recovery, Heather is here to tell you that positive change is possible even when it doesn't feel that way. Join her as she shares openly about her struggles and small triumphs. Fair warning though, Heather doesn't hold back. Her candid story may trigger some. But for those wanting honesty, hope, and healing, this is 1% Better with Heather. The information and stories shared on 1% Better are based on host Heather's personal experiences with eating disorders and mental health challenges. Heather is not a licensed doctor, therapist, dietitian, or other health professional. Her advice and opinions should not be taken as professional medical advice. Please consult your physician or a qualified health provider regarding any medical or health-related issues. 1% Better also contains descriptions of eating disorders that may be triggering for some listeners. Discretion is advised.
Hey there, Mellow Gaffers, and welcome to 1% Better with Heather. This episode, I'm going to talk about how my eating disorder affected my one child, my oldest son. When I was in the hospital, my kids were on vacation with their dad. Thank God, because I did not want them to see me like this. They already saw me go through a horrible divorce, which is its own podcast. Trust me, you wouldn't believe my life, and walked through the pits of hell once and got myself out of it by myself, as I do, because I'm Heather. Nothing keeps me down. I can conquer anything. However, this eating disorder was way out of my realm, so to speak. I was still hooked up to the feeding tube, and I remember talking to my doctor saying, listen, I have children. I need to go home. They're coming off vacation with their dad. I need to go be a mom. I need to get the hell out of here. And she looked at me and said, yeah, good luck with that. You're not leaving. This was a shovel to the face because I could always get myself out of anything. And I have a lot of good stories for this reason. Am I sort of like my own worst enemy? Yeah, but great stories. However, this time, no bueno. And I remember talking to the eating dietitian that came in. And I remember saying to her, listen, I'm better now. I've got to gain some weight. My kids are coming home. I need to leave. Nope. So, friends off. She wasn't taking mercy on me either. And I just kept thinking, how long am I going to be here? I can't be here forever, right? So we can just keep saying that I have the flu. I don't know. My husband wasn't going for that, by the way. And he's like, no, we have to tell them the truth. And I kept saying, not on your life. I remember what it's like to go to the hospital and to watch someone die. When I was 5, my grandfather was diagnosed with cancer, and it was bad. I have certain memories, but the things that stick with me stick. And there's this one candy, and it looks like fruit with sugar on it, but it's like gummies. I remember my husband and I going to Potter's in Langley, British Columbia, Canada, to their Christmas store, and they had these candies. I haven't seen them since 1984. And I said, I'm going to send a picture to my sister. I'm going to show you what she says. And he says, well, what's she going to say? And I was like, she's going to call them death candies. And he's like, no, she's not. I'm like, no, she is. She is. So I send a picture. 2 seconds back. Why would you send me a picture of death candies? Told you. Those candies have never left me. And that's what I remember. And I don't want to give that to my children. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. But I couldn't do this. Knowingly bring them into a situation where I might not come out of it. Because I was still on the heart attack list. No heart attack yet. But who knows? And then I thought, I went through a horrible divorce with their dad. He's going to have so much ammo against me. He's going to take me back to court after I just won everything in court because he's crazy. And I'm like, fuck. I am so fucked. It's not even funny. And I just kept saying to my husband, no, they cannot come here. They cannot come here. One day he said, Heather, your oldest son misses you. He knows something's wrong. He's scared. He needs to see you. I'm like, I can't do this to them with my feeding tube and I'm hooked up to everything. I can't do it. And he's like, you have to. So that day, my doctor, I asked her, I'm like, can I go downstairs to the cafeteria anywhere but this room? Because my roommate is got dementia and she's not having a great day. I'm like, can I just get out of here? I don't need my kids hearing this stuff too, right? It's bad enough they're going to see their mom like this. And she's like, yeah, no problem. Just plug your, I call him Freddie Mercury, my feeding tube with the machine, right? I had to name him something. And in Children's Hospital, where my stepdaughter was, who had leukemia, my husband told me the doctors told all the patients to name all their apparatuses, so to speak, so it wasn't so scary. So Freddie Mercury, it is. So Freddie Mercury comes downstairs with me. I plug him in. And we sit downstairs and we go to the cafeteria and I get my kids pizza and I'm trying to, everything's fine. See, mommy's fine. My youngest son really didn't get it, but my older son's not. He knows, right? He knows. My eating disorder before that gave me a lot of anger. And because my son and I are exact same person, yay, and we butt heads, it's doesn't always go well when you're talking to yourself. And we fight and we argue, which is fine. It happens. But he would always go to my husband to talk about how he felt on what he was seeing. I know I don't know the whole story yet because I can only handle certain increments, so to speak. If I knew everything, it would probably crumble me right here. I'm not going to lie. I know my eating disorder is a domino effect. It affected my son. It affected my husband. My son did live with me up until March 2023, and then he moved out. He couldn't handle it anymore. He couldn't watch it. And even though I was in recovery, I was only in recovery. I didn't start recovery till like end of December 2022. So it was like 2 months. And I was angry. I was inconsolable. I couldn't focus. I didn't know what way was up. And he said, I'm going to go move in with dad full time. He has every right to, and I do not hold anything against him. I'm surprised he made it that long, actually. To this day, we talk. I see him. We go for family dinners. But he has a lot of hurt to process that I caused, and I know it. I don't know how to fix this at this point, other than showing him I am better. I am in recovery. I've gained weight. I'm not as angry as I once was. I'm not as confused as I once was. But this is something I'll have to live with for the rest of my life. Also, unfortunately for me, his dad's a chotch. So if he says mom's a hag, his dad's going to agree with him. So there's no Team Heather on that one. And that's okay. I hope I am making more out of this in my head. I hope I didn't really mess him up. But if I did, I have it coming. So, okay. My younger son is special needs. He really didn't get it. So I'm lucky, and he still lives with me. So we have a different relationship. But it is hard. It's hard. I see photos from when I was in the hospital. I took photos that day with my kids, and everything's great. And yay, thanks for coming to see mommy. I tried really hard that day to make it like Disneyland and introduce them to people that I met in the hospital and the Tim Hortons workers and the cafeteria workers. And I was like, see, everything's fine. I'm like Surrey Memorial spokesperson. Denial's a fun place to be sometimes. So I don't really know. I haven't really asked, to be honest. He does get excited when I go to family dinners and eat with the family. He does say to me, I'm so happy to see you eating. So that makes me feel good because he can see the progress. But I don't know. It's just guilt I'll have to live with, I guess.
That's all for this episode of 1% Better. To continue the conversation, head over to our website at www.1percentbetter.ca, where you can access more stories and resources. We'd also love it if you subscribed and left us a review on your favorite podcast platform. And remember, friends, progress takes patience, perspective, and sometimes a little help from people who get it. So be kind to yourself and others as we work to get 1% better every day. We'll see you back here next week.